Sabrina, honey. We're looking at the Pentagon. The Deputy Pentagon Press Secretary Sabrina Singh. She's briefing the news media at the Pentagon. And Sabrina just so happens to be my favorite Pentagon official. She really does. And she makes me laugh. But her hand, her hand looks a little bit strange right there. It does. I don't know if they've turned Sabrina into AI or something, you all. But look at her hand. They don't do her right. She's got a straight line, like right there. Where her fingers go like this, it's completely straight and dark. It is, you all. I mean, her nail polish looks kind of good. And I guess she has some green eyeshadow on or something like that. And her ear looks kind of strange. It does. Yeah, I'm going to be hot up here because I didn't turn on the air. Her ear looks a little strange over here. And they have, can you see her ear? She don't mind if you look at her ear. She really doesn't. Sabrina, honey, do you mind if we look at your ear? She don't. She don't care. Because she ain't going to say nothing, you all. She's just going to be completely quiet. Her ear looks like it's it's a ring too. Her ear at the top looked like it's a ring because it's going around like that. And then just want to look at a little bit at Sabrina, just see how she looks. She's dressed nice, and it's okay, Sabrina, honey. We just want to examine you. And if you are AI, we want to help them make you look a little bit more human, is what we want. I really do. I want to make her look a little bit more human. And they don't know if we don't watch. They don't. But she is the deputy. Let me see. Deputy Pentagon Press Secretary. And she does the press briefings along with General Pat Ryder. But she's fun to watch. I want to go over there and see Sabrina, honey, because she's so fun. Gina, you think she's fun? She is fun to watch. I like watching her. I do. And, you know, she is given a hard rap. Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Hello there, Frank. You all. Yes. Well, so we're going to watch. What's that mean? It's not off the shelf. The outfit is definitely not off the shelf. I don't know what that means. I don't. But that's okay. We're going to look at Sabrina, honey. She's, first I got to make sure we got Sabrina ready so we can hear her talk. She is going to be considered a video capture device. And I want to make sure I got this going so we can hear Sabrina. Is she? Yeah, she'll be a video capture device. She don't mind. She just wants to be heard, so we're going to let Sabrina speak. We are, so we're going to come over to Sabrina, honey. And we're going to look at Sabrina. We are. Let's see if I can come over here. Let's make Sabrina, honey, a little bit bigger. And there she is. We're going to watch Sabrina walk into the room because she walks into the room. She's got to quit spinning right now. Come on, Sabrina, honey. You got to quit spinning. Okay, there she comes. Look at her. She's so happy. Can you see how happy Sabrina, honey, looks? You all, let's look at how happy Sabrina looks. Look at her. Sabrina, honey, what has happened to your hands? What did they do to you, Sabrina? Excuse me. Oh, Dr. Von Womble. We can't speed it up. I just wanted to see Sabrina, honey's hands. And his face is a little bit too straight right here. Can y'all hear me? Yeah, a little bit too straight, going straight down. I really am not sure if these are computer-generated images or not. But it kind of looks like something like that is happening. You can make a room full of people with AI as it is. And everybody likes to look on their phone. So let's watch Sabrina. She's so happy. Hello, Sabrina, honey. They don't do you right, but that's okay. We're going to watch you, see how you got going on. Oh, okay, you are. Gina, honey, you got to be quiet. I am. I'm going to be quiet. Oh, okay, you are. Gina, honey, you got to be quiet. I am. I'm going to be quiet. Okay. I don't have Sabrina speaking right now, so I've got to come back to the OBS studio. And I've got to turn on maybe the audio output capture. I got to turn myself down. We want to hear Sabrina. It would be the audio output. Let's see if she can speak. Okay, Sabrina, honey, you go ahead. I think I got you going.
All right. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I just have a few things here at the top, and then I'd be happy to take your questions. Next week, the Secretary will travel on his 8th.
Not yet. Oh. Not yet. Okay, we got her. Okay, we got Sabrina.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I just have a few things here at the top, and then I'd be happy to take your questions. Next week, the Secretary will travel on his 8th trip to the Indo-Pacific region to include the first ever visit by a serving Secretary of Defense to Papua New Guinea. He will meet with government leaders to discuss next steps following the recent signature of the U.S. Papua New Guinea Defense Cooperation Agreement, which reflects our partnership and our shared values as Pacific countries. He will then travel to Australia and join Secretary Blinken to meet with their counterparts for the 33rd Annual Australia-United States Ministerial Consultations to advance our unprecedented cooperation in the Indo-Pacific region and globally. Also in Australia, Secretary Austin will visit U.S. and Australian service members participating in Exercise Talisman Sabre, the United States' largest military exercise with Australia. Every stop on the trip will highlight how, since the start of the Biden administration, the United States, its allies, and partners across the Indo-Pacific region have made major investments in their own sources of national strength and their shared ties, driving historic momentum toward a shared regional vision for peace, stability, and prosperity in a free and open Indo-Pacific. Yesterday, the department announced a new security assistance package that included additional air defense capabilities, munitions, and mine clearing equipment totaling $1.3 billion. This USAI package highlights the continued U.S. commitment to meeting Ukraine's pressing requirements by committing critical near-term capabilities while also building the enduring capacity of Ukraine's armed forces to defend its territory and deter Russian aggression over the mid and long term. Switching gears a bit, to AFRICOM, U.S. Naval Forces Europe-Africa Force Medical held an event in support of Africa Malaria Task Force on July 17th through 21st in Accra, Ghana. Tactical level individuals from the Ministry of Defense and Ministry of Health and key leaders from 25 partner nations attended with a focus on the emerging threat of malaria. Since its inception in 2011, the task force has brought together scientists and policymakers with demonstrated interest in malaria programs to share resources, strategies, and expertise that would ultimately lead as a catalyst for change. The African Malaria Task Force complements the U.S. President's Malaria Initiative, focused on malaria prevention in Africa, and the African Partner Outbreak Response Alliance, which supports global health security objectives for the United States and partner nations. And lastly, today the Senate Armed Services voted on the nominations of General C.Q. Brown for the next chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and General George for the Chief of Staff for the Army. The committee, including Senator Tuberville, unanimously voted to move these nominees to the Senate floor. But however, as you're very
Sabrina,
familiar,
that's kind of
Senator
boring,
Tuberville
but
is
you go
holding up
ahead.
military nominations, not because of their qualifications, but because he disagrees with the DoD policy. This unprecedented hold directly impacts readiness and our national security. And to reiterate what Secretary Austin said earlier this week, 1 in 5 troops are women. They do not get a chance to pick where they are assigned, and they sacrifice every day. This policy allows service members and their family members to access non-covered reproductive health, including important family services such as in vitro fertilization. And with that, I'd be happy to take your questions. Tara, do you want to start us off?
Sure. Thanks, Sabrina. several questions about Private King. Did his escorts make a mistake not escorting him all the way to the plane and staying to make sure he was on the plane when it took off? And then secondly, do you have a better idea now of what he was doing from the moment he left the customs area until the point he crossed into North Korea? Then I have a couple more.
Sure. So in terms of the escorting to the plane, this was someone that was going, as Private King, I should say, was going from one duty station. He was leaving a deployment and going back and returning home to his home base or his home station. So
Sabrina is talking about this guy that somehow got stuck in North Korea. He got in North Korea, and I didn't even hear anything about it. And they're going to ask her, why wasn't he guarded at all times? Because you can't be getting into North Korea. Good afternoon. It feels weird typing that your name is beautiful. It's okay.
He was escorted all the way up. They were only able to escort him up to security, and when he got to the gate, he did confirm that he was near the gate. And in terms of, I'm sorry, your second question was on.
Do you have any better visibility on, there's about half a day where you don't know where he was?
So we have the Army has launched.
This guy they have a whole half of day, and they don't know where this soldier was. No idea. And if you've ever been to the Korea demilitarized zone, perhaps maybe you could tell us how this soldier got stuck in North Korea.
Investigation into this incident. It's going to be led by Army counterintelligence personnel, and they'll be conducting this in coordination with U.S. Forces Korea. So we, at this moment right now, I can't tell you more about his whereabouts. That's something that the investigation would reveal.
And just to see if anything's changed, has North Korea responded to any outreach from either the U.S. or from another country acting on our behalf about his welfare?
Unfortunately, no. We have not heard any communication or correspondence from the North Koreans on this incident. Yeah, I'll go to Jen.
Sabrina, I'm trying to understand still why he was allowed to be unescorted to the gate. He was facing disciplinary measures back here in the States. Are you saying that there was just a sort of an honor code and a trust that he would get on board, or why? I don't understand why there wasn't more monitoring or somebody to fly with him.
Sure. Well, he wasn't in custody when he was going through the airport. He was flying home. So because of that,
I don't know what he was flying. I don't even. Gina, honey, you are so loud. I don't know what he was running from. I don't.
He wasn't in custody. He was leaving his deployment and had faced consequences in Korea, had served that time that he served in the correctional facility, and then was returning home. So
Consequences at home.
He was facing additional administrative action, but I'd leave that to the Army to speak to what exactly that was. But what I can say is that from what we know is that when he was being escorted to the airport, his escorts were not allowed to go beyond security.
And then there's a story out suggesting that there's an Army report indicating that this may have been pre-planned with the North Koreans, that somehow this soldier had been contacted, and that this was part of a plan or an outreach, and that the North Koreans weren't surprised when he crossed. Is that accurate? What can you say?
I haven't seen that report. This is, of course, under investigation. We don't have any inclination of that at this time, but again, we'll let the investigation take its course, but I haven't seen that report, so I couldn't comment on. Again, that's something that the investigation will certainly glean. That's not a characterization that we're using right now.
Sabrina, look at some of this. Look how the hands have the digitalization all around them. I don't know if this is a real press briefing. I don't, because they were working with technology to do virtual press briefings is what they would do. And they got good cameras. I think these were all photoshopped people in their characters by the look of it. because they don't look normal. Nothing about it looks normal at all. You can see, look at his hand. Does his hand look normal to you? I really do feel that at this moment in time that they're using CGI for all their briefings, and people in there is what they're doing. So just look at that. Let's look at Sabrina's legs. Sabrina, honey, what have they done to you? You look like you're shape-shifting now. See, look at Sabrina. See her face? If she was a real human and not a virtual, you know, it's her avatar. Okay, let's might as well call these an avatar of the real people. The way that it looks. See, look at this. Look at this. Look at this, you all. Can you see this right here? I can't make it any bigger. There's a great big line of dark shadowing. What it appears as if right now, am I echoing? Yes, Susan, honey, her arms look really tight on her shirt. I'm really thinking that this is CGI, but where are the real people? Where are they at? See, look at the podium. How everything is blending in perfect. Except Sabrina's hands, and her head is distorted. But the flag is somewhat intact. Somewhat. And his hand looks kind of strange, and his neck is gray, and all of that. Look at her hands. It all looks fake. I'm just going to be honest with you. It all looks fake. Fake briefings. But we're going to watch more of Sabrina, honey, see what else she got to say.
Do you have any knowledge, perhaps through intelligence, that Private King is alive?
Well, that's something that we're focused on. We're focused on our priority focus, and what the Secretary reiterated at the beginning of this
That
week
could
was
be
that we want to bring him home.
Magneto.
We don't know his condition. We don't know where he's
It
at.
all
We don't
ended,
know,
and we just don't
the
know it
status of his
yet.
health. But we are working with the interagency, through the DoD, through the NSC and state, really pulling all levers of government here to try and find out more.
Sabrina, let's look at you close up. Don't mind us. We're just examining to see how you look. Well, your nose got a little difference in it, you all. Look at her nose. She can't help what they did to her nose. You see it? It's like, it's her avatar. It's like the news people when they were showing the news reporters their digital version of them, their virtual version. And you couldn't hardly tell it apart. They sounded like them, acted like them. Yeah, well, we like to call Sabrina, Sabrina. And it's all right. Look at that microphone. Can you see that? It's just got one strip of gray on it. It's not even a real microphone. Can you see the gray? It's just like a strip of gray. Okay, Sabrina, we're tired. We're done looking at you. You can talk now. She can go ahead and finish talking, you all. She can.
But I don't have anything else to add on that.
So you don't know, you couldn't say right now whether even through intelligence channels that you know he's alive.
I wouldn't be able to get into any intelligence or speak to that. All I can say is that from when he crossed over to the DMZ, we know he is in custody of the North Koreans. But beyond that, in terms of his condition, I can't speak to that.
And on the issue of U.S. forces in South Korea, has there been any kind of greater restrictions put on them? Has anything changed regarding, their freedom of movements when off duty or when they're in?
Why would they put this guy next to them shaking his leg? He looks totally out of place, the guy in the checkered shirt. I've never seen anybody dressed like him in a press briefing at all. I haven't.
Travel, themselves.
That's a good question for South Korea forces there. I am not aware of any changes to any policy.
He is nervous.
Janie.
same questions on these issues. I'm wondering, because everybody have a lot of question about this. I visited this area several times. JSA is a place where safety is highly demanded, but how could this soldier who left without boarding a plane attended a tour of Panmunjom?
Well, that's something that the investigation is going to be looking at. We don't know his motivations for why he did not board the plane. We don't know what he did in the hours between when he left the airport and when he crossed over into the DPRK. We have snippets of time and understand from, we've seen some of the publicly reported imagery of him taking the tour of what time that was, but beyond that window of sort of the questions that
her
you're getting
earlobe
into
looks
on, like,
weird.
what he did during the time that between when he left the airport and the tour, that's something that the investigation is going to have to look into.
I think there was a security gap because they not follow him and they not, these guys, they have troublemakers, something, you
Sure. Well, again, that's something that I mentioned before. This wasn't a service member that was in custody. He had served in a correctional
Look at her ear, it's
facility
white.
in South Korea. He was being returned to his duty station at home. So
It's
there
totally white.
I don't think anyone anticipated that he was going to leave the airport.
Sabrina, we want to look at your ear. Look at Sabrina's ear. It's like white. She's got a white ear, and there's like a little alien in there, more or less. You see it? It is. It really appears to be computer-generated press briefings.
He did have escorts take him all the way up through security. And what we know is that he confirmed that he was, near or somewhere close by the gate, but I don't think there was any anticipation that he was going to not board his flight. Yep, we can do another.
China and Russia are conducting large-scale military exercise on the east coast near South Korea. Meanwhile, North Korean Kim Jong-un announced today he ready for the nuclear war. How can you respond on that?
Well, I think on the exercises, we've seen the China and Russia conduct these exercises just last year. Again, it shows China siding or prioritizing an exercise with a country that unjust.
See Sabrina's ear? That's not a normal ear. Her earlobe should not be white. It should be kind of dark since her hair's around her earlobe. She got the face of a reptilian bone structure. She could be a reptilian. And her eyes are kind of messed up. I mean, it looks good from a small phone, but when you zoom up on it, you can see Sabrina really well as she does her thing. Look at Sabrina's hands. They didn't do her hands right. That looks kind of fake. It really looks like her hands are just like put in there. Yeah, you see? That's a bad representation of her hand. They're not, I heard the AI is not really good with doing hands. Boom. It's okay, Sabrina. We like watching you, even if you are AI. We like to see what you're going to say because you kind of get it together. She does, you will.
Invaded its sovereign neighbor. You saw the joint statement that President Putin and President Xi, I think, had also put out. Again, all of this demonstrates that the link between European security, Indo-Pacific security, it's all linked together. And we certainly are in touch with our allies and partners around the world, but we've seen this exercise take place just last year. I'm going to move on, and I can always.
You don't want to talk about it, Sabrina, honey. Okay, let's look at Sabrina. See her head. She's talking about the stuff. Look over here where their legs are. It looks fine, but when you zoom up, look. It's all digital. Oh, it's all digital. Oh my gosh, look at these men. What is going on? Look his face. His face is stuck. You can't really see it that well. Let me show you his face. What it looks like at a distance, you all. I'm going to show you his face. Okay, can you see his face? I really don't know what's going on. I try to make his face even bigger. His face doesn't match. None of them do. That's right, Helen DeMacher. I think this is all computer-generated briefings. AI is running the show, is what I think. Because look, I can't even see what we're looking at right here. And their hands are a big conjumbled, like mess. I can't see. Like, how can that be normal? You have a man who's sitting there, and this is his hands, and this is his face. Don't they know it's the end of the world? Yeah. Now, oh shoot. How did I do that? I keep going on my one thing, you all. Oh, I guess I took a screenshot of it. I can't really look at that. Let's go back to Sabrina. Because she's really trying to do her best to have a press briefing, is what she's trying to do. We'll just hear what she has to say.
North Korea's defense chief implied that the presence of the nuclear-capable USS Kentucky at port in South Korea might fall under the legal conditions for his country's use of nuclear weapons. Do you take that as a threat, and what's the department's response to that language?
Well, I certainly don't think rhetoric like that is helpful. The port visit that you're referring to is something consistent that the president had said early on this year when President Yoon came to visit. I'm forgetting the exact month, but when the two leaders met. This is something consistent when it comes to strategic deterrence, and it reflects our ironclad commitment to the region. But I wouldn't say that, rhetoric like that, it's incredibly dangerous. We're not there to instigate or to, I'm using a bad expression, but poke the bear. We're there. This is a further deepening of our cooperation with South Korea, and something that was announced during the Washington Declaration. So, again, I would just refer you back to what the president had announced when when President Yoon visited earlier this year. Yeah.
Can you say any more about the efforts being made to contact North Korea either directly or through intermediaries? Is it a matter of making the calls and just knowing? That's
really interesting too, Janice Lohman. What lady did they model her movements with? That's right, Billy. Yeah, she's not human. I really do feel as if they have implemented the AI, the virtual.
On the other end, there's no sign of any response at all so far?
Unfortunately, no. There is no sign of engagement from the North Koreans. We don't have, we've always maintained that we want to have diplomatic channels remain open. We've always wanted to ensure that there is military-to-military cooperation and communication, but sadly, there's not on the North Korean side. You've heard from my NSC counterparts that there has been engagement at their level to Sweden and
hello, Golden Arrow,
and other interagency efforts to try and engage North Korea, but we just have not heard.
Closer defense cooperation, do you characterize their exercises as concerning?
Well, we monitor the exercises, but this is something that we saw last year. So again, we've seen that China continues to engage in military cooperation with Russia, despite the fact that it is in its brutal war against Ukraine. So we do monitor.
OTS, she looks a little different. She does. She didn't used to look like this. It seems as if they're using virtual CGI press briefings. See, look at her hands. I've got this blown up. Her fingers have straight edges on them. If you all can see it. Can you see the straight edges of her fingers and things of that nature? I think she's a computer-generated talking life form. virtual life form, more or less. She could be a robot. She could be, you never know.
But this is something that we did observe last year. Yeah, no problem. Sorry, yes.
Hey, thank you. I want to go back to the Grey Deal question regarding the tensions that have been building up recently.
You know, this guy in the very back corner, his face keeps shape-shifting. It really does. I don't know if you can see him that well, but as the video plays...
How engaged are you with the Turks, or are you in close contact with them regarding the security through the Istanbul Straits, for example? Can you elaborate on that, please?
I don't have anything more specific to add right now. I mean, Russia just withdrew from the grain deal. We continue to urge Russia to return to it. Turkey was the leading nation that helped broker that deal. We
Yes,
talked
advanced
to
tech.
our Turkish counterparts and our allies who have been supportive of Ukraine during this war, but I just don't have more to share at this moment.
Specific regarding the security of the straits, or like, the civilian ships or any other ships?
No, nothing. I mean, nothing specific from like what the United States is doing. We don't have assets in the Black Sea right now.
With regard to that, are you in close cooperation with the Turks? Is there anything specific on the table? No.
Nothing that I can share at the moment. Yeah. Yes, in the back. Hi.
Thank you, Sabrina. The Belarus military and members of Wagner Group, as the military of Belarus announced, they will hold 4 days of joint training in the region near the Poland borders. So how much concerns do you have about the security situation in that area, specific at the eastern border of the NATO and EU? And is there any change with the...
Priorities to bring an American home.
That the U.S. has reached?
That's something that the investigation will
Good afternoon.
yield. What I can tell you is that the soldier's current duty status is absent without leave. That's all I can say right now. It's hard. I can't say what he was thinking at the time. This is a very difficult situation. I can't imagine what his family's going through. All I can say is that our priority is to bring him home. And we are doing everything that we can to do that. All right, Mike.
Is the only country that acts as sort of an interlocutor between the U.S. and North Korea, or are there other countries that the U.S. is reaching out to?
I can't speak to other countries, but I know that we have worked with Sweden previously.
On this particular
Yes,
issue?
we are. The NSC spoke to that as well, that we are engaging with the Swedes on this front.
What administrative actions were proposed against him once he got back to Fort Bliss?
I would refer you to the Army for that, for more context. All I can say is, he was facing additional administrative action. I do not. I would refer you to the Army for that, who can answer more questions. Okay.
As a private cavalry scout, he probably wouldn't have been privy to much information that North Korea would be interested in, though, right?
I mean, we're not, that is not our assessment. This is, again, something that the investigation will certainly look into, but that is not our assessment at this time. Right now, again, our focus is on bringing him home. That he is, how did you phrase it, an intelligence liability, or, I'm sorry.
It was a private E2 cavalry scout. So
right. Sorry, I don't remember exactly how Mike phrased it. Yep, I'll take 2 more. Tara and then Louie.
Just follow up on, has there been any other communication with the family besides the next of kin? Do they have a case officer that's staying in touch with them about this?
That's really a question for the Army. They are the point of contact for the family, so I would defer to them on that. Yeah, Louie.
Sabrina, there have been some reports that Ukraine has used the cluster munitions the United States has provided to them. Can you confirm that, and what kind of effect do you expect that they'll have on the battlefield, if that is the case?
Yeah, I believe I believe they have started using them. In terms of the effect on the battlefield, I'd really let Ukraine speak to how they intend to employ them. But this is a powerful artillery that we've given them. They have
her nose is messed
promised
up.
or have committed to use it responsibly, to keep track of and record where they are using it, so when this war is over, they can begin those demining efforts. But I would let Ukraine speak to more of their operational uses on that front.
She's done.
are the ones that are included, that are housed inside of artillery shells, is that correct?
That's right. Yeah. All right. Great. Thanks. We can wrap it up there.
Thanks, Sabrina, honey. Let's get another look at you before you go. Okay, there's Sabrina up close. Look at her digital avatar. You can see it really well. I think you can. Somewhat well. Can you see her somewhat well? Let me do a screenshot so you can see the digital Sabrina. She can't help it, you all. She really can't, that they make her look that way. This is the digital Sabrina. Just like that. And there's her hands that they made for her, her digital hands, which she don't got to say so over it. I'm sure she would like to look more human, and she would like her face to look more human. But right now, she'll take what she can get, you all. She'll take the pixelization of her faces, her face, and the way they're doing it. Yeah, she's probably not human. She's probably an avatar. Really, it's like that movie Avatar. If we think about it, let's see what else. Who else is on here other than Sabrina, honey? And of course, we've got these guys over here. They're on there too, and they just don't look normal. I really am thinking art. See, this is the same. This is the same pose that we got before with these guys. They're doing the exact same pose. Let me see if they are. You see them? They're both looking down just like that. It appears to be the same pose both times. See, it's not normal. Are they human or are they CGI? Oh, why are we talking about the draft, the military draft? Well, within a year, you might see a world war. I don't want to see a draft. I do not want to see a military draft at all. I don't, you all. I don't. He definitely is going to break loose in the country, so start preparing essential items. Oh, hell is. H-E double hockey sticks is going to break loose in the country. Start preparing. You like that echo? It is an echo. It is. Let me get this off of here. I'm going to put it back to me. I'm going to turn off Sabrina. Sabrina, I'm going to turn you off. Boom. I'm going to turn off the audio output. Okay. Think I got it. Did I get it, you all? Did I get the output? This is, can be found on the Pentagon press briefing page. Look at this. The U.S. Department of Defense, and you can come up here, and you can go down and you can see all the videos that they got right here that they just do. They're playing China. Defense state officials testify on China, part 2. I wonder what they're trying to do. Go to war with China? I hope not. I really hope they're not at all. It's just, it's all wild. Let me, you can go look at these if you type it in, you all. This is strange. And I don't want a military draft at all. I don't. It's, there's enough going on in the world than that. I'm trying to make this shrink. But this is the Deputy Press Secretary, Sabrina Singh. She did used to look human, but now they turned her into CGI avatar. And she don't even have to speak anymore. They just speak for her, pretend like they're her. So if this is not the real Sabrina, what's the real Sabrina doing? Really, where is the real Sabrina? And where are the real people? And someone wrote in the comment, what if it's already over and we don't realize it? It could be. It really could be. Yeah. Hello there, Ulysses. He hasn't moved a muscle. That's right. They don't move at all. They just sit there is what they do. The men on the back wall. They all just sit there. Does the uniform this guy is wearing give some information? There's no uniform right here. She is a civilian. right here. They do have civilian and military working side by side. And if we were to look up Sabrina, which we can because she don't mind if we look her up. Let's see if it tells if she's a... Let's put her in. Let's see what we get with Sabrina, honey. There she is. Wow! Look at Sabrina. This is what Sabrina really looks like. And now you can see Sabrina looks really, really different. Sabrina Singh is an American administrator who has served at the... Who has served as the Deputy Pentagon Press Secretary in the Department of Defense since April of 2019, Democratic. See, she looks a lot different than the Sabrina that we're looking at, that we've looked at on here, you all. She looks totally different. That is so wild. And here's Sabrina here also. Sabrina Singh, Deputy Pentagon Press Secretary incumbent. Let's see all of her images. Look at her. She holds briefings. Now this may be the real one right here. I think this is the real one right here. This is before they turned her into CGI right here. This is what it used to look like. Your phone did not like your sentence. Yeah, she used to look like that. And like this. Totally, totally different. And now she is a CGI. They turned her into CGI, you all. That's right. This is how you tell. Everyone who looks so smooth, even the actors and stuff, they're so smooth, they're already been turned into the CGI. So this is Sabrina trying to step down off the stage. I would say that this probably is maybe the real Sabrina. I don't know. It could have been. But I wanted to see some more images of her. She is the Sabrina Singh. She looks like a robot right here. What if that is a robot? Oh my gosh. She looks like a robot. This is going to be my new screenshot right there. I'm going to come over here. She is our new screenshot. Because she looks like a... She does. She looks like a robot. Let me put her on here because she does. Jada, you keep repeating. Well, at first I gotta crop her. If I can find her, let me crop her out. I'm gonna crop her because she looks like a robot. Is what she looks like. She don't look real. Wow, let's do it. I'm gonna do it, you all. Let's put her in here. AI can put any clothes on them that you want. There. Okay, you think we got it? Right there. Here's Sabrina right here. She looks totally normal here. Look at this. She looks normal. They did something to her. This is when she was normal too. Look at it. She used to be a real person. Look at that. Totally real. Isn't it amazing? The Pentagon. And this is her now that we just got through looking at. She now has turned into CGI. A CGI avatar. And where is the real one? Yes, yes. The data eyes. Here she is right here too. She could be part CGI right here also. Now granted, you can have pixelization, but you can, oh, this is a good one. Look, there she is. She looks kind of normal right here. She got some eyeshadow on. And, wow. All these different images of her. Oh, Gina, honey, what are you doing? It's definitely a different person that we're seeing now. It's not her. It's probably her CGI counterpart. Let's shrink you down, Sabrina. We're trying to figure out who or what are you. Okay. This is real. Right here. Well, no, I don't think she used to have... Her lips didn't used to be that full. This could be the fake one, too. Okay, it could be. I wouldn't say that it's not. See, look at this one. This one is real. That's Sabrina. Yes. Robotoid. Yeah, they replaced her with a robot. She was quite entertaining. She used to be. Because she would struggle for the answers to the questions. Until then, this came. And she's no more. There's even a fake microphone. You can see the color on it. Her name is Comels. She morphed. She morphed into something. There she is right there. That doesn't look like her. Green is not your color, Sabrina, honey. It is not your color. Okay? Yeah. Some people might like her in green. So different, you all. Look like big alien eyes on the microphone. So different. There was one more. They're assessing the disclosures. Look at that. This ain't real either. I'm done talking about her. They are different ladies, different bone structures, all of it. I liked it when she was happy. She looks a little bit happy right here. She does. I hope she's living a happy life wherever the real Sabrina is. I really do. There's Sabrina right there. Indian American Sabrina Singh into the White House. That's her right there. Yeah, that's somebody totally different now. Totally. I have no idea how many Sabrinas there are. Now we got another one. Do you think that's her? She may have lots of body doubles. She's dead and gone, Hugh. She very well could be dead and gone. See, this one looks totally different too. How come she's dead and gone? Wow. Look at this one. Ta-da! Hello, Sabrina, honey. You don't look human anymore. She doesn't. It's all right. 100, that's right. There's 100 Sabrinas running around, and we would just like to meet a real one. Oh, here she is. Sabrina Singh, Kamala Harris, press secretary, who has worked. This is the real Sabrina right there. Okay, Sabrina, you're real, but they got a avatar for you now. They do, you all. Wow. Isn't that amazing, you all? See, that's her right there. And then I guess this is supposed to be her also. Right there. And then, Sabrina, honey, what did they do to you? They have, oh, I don't know. Do not know. That don't look like her at all. Sabrina, they switched her. She got switched out. You could have a robot. You really could. And you can see all of these. Wow. And look at this one. Does that look like her? That don't look like her. Wow. That's it, you all. That's all of Sabrina for now. She did her best to do what she did. And you're just trying to watch Sabrina. This is Sabrina now. You can see. Does that look like her? Okay, well, we're talking about her. We don't want to talk about Sabrina. It's not the same Sabrina. Okay. I didn't really ever look at her before, but I did now. And I'm going to go. This is a different one, totally. So with that being said, what did she say? She didn't say much of anything, but her appearance doesn't look fully human at all. It doesn't. So with that being said, hello, wherever you are, in any part of the world, hello. From my heart to yours, love you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And I really think that maybe the Pentagon officials and those who do, even the newscasts, they could be CGI and everybody could be underground, as far as we know. They could be hiding in the caves and the mountains and stuff like that. That's right, you all. They could. Thank you, Susan B. Thank you all for tuning in, and thank you for your comments. I couldn't tell you if this is a real briefing or not. I'm more likely to say it wasn't real people, but it was computer generated, but it had a real world effect. I can say that. You can.